Nvidia stock just got some amazing news from SuperMicro, as SuperMicro mentions that they are shipping over 100,000 GPUs per quarter. So in today's episode, we are going to take a closer look at that and some other amazing updates impacting the overall AI accelerator space. But one more amazing news would be if you make sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe button, check out my free Substack and special offer at fool.com/Jose. Now, let's get started with today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for their subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so we can start here with Nvidia. The stock was up roughly 2.2% on today. And like I mentioned, one of the biggest impacts is going to be that SuperMicro news that we are going to take a closer look in a bit. But one of the upcoming events or upcoming news that we saw today was Nvidia did announce that Jensen will be doing a keynote on CES at CES on January 6th at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. So for those that are not familiar with CES, this is a huge consumer electronic kind of trade show where we see a lot of the cool consumer products coming out. So first, I want to say here, I wouldn't expect much in forms of the data center market, as this is a consumer event. A few things that I think we can see in this CES event is first, the next generation of Nvidia's consumer GPUs, and maybe more of GPUs meant for workstations as well, right? So I think that's what we're gonna get here during this CES event. Not necessarily the biggest bullish news in my opinion for Nvidia, as right now it's very dependent on data center revenue, and like I mentioned, I don't think we're going to take a closer look at any data center products during this event. But another kind of catalyst or bullish trends that can happen at CES is maybe not individually from Nvidia, but other companies out there might be releasing maybe some form of robotic prototype of autonomous vehicle, of some form of consumer AI application, some consumer product that could be running in the back end by some form of Nvidia products on Nvidia AI solutions. So I think that can be a nice bullish trend as we continue to see maybe new products come out thanks to Nvidia's AI solution. The other thing is there are rumors that Nvidia might be entering into the CPU market or might be partnering up with others to really push more the CPU and GPU product. And this is definitely, if we're gonna hear about this, I think it's gonna be during CES event. This is not going to happen till January 6th, but we're already in October and we know how quickly time passes by. So now the second news that I want to take a closer look at is that SuperMicro news press that we saw earlier this morning. And that really caused the stock price for SuperMicro to jump up a nice amount. The stock was up nearly 16% in one day. For those that are not familiar with SuperMicro, right, this is a stock that has been impacted a lot by a few things. First, it was kind of that delay in 10K reporting. Then we also got, before that, we also got kind of a short report, and we recently got news that the Department of Justice might be doing a probe on SuperMicro. So there's a lot of bearish sentiments impacting the overall stock, but we can see that the news today really caused a nice positive action where SuperMicro solidifies their position as a leader in complete rack scale liquid cooling solutions, currently shipping over 100,000 GPUs per quarter. Now, if we know that Nvidia pretty much owns most of the market, over 90% of the data center GPU market is coming from Nvidia, then we can guess that a nice amount of GPUs that they're shipping per quarter are gonna be Nvidia GPUs. The other thing that I do believe kind of brought SuperMicro up, it really kind of showcased kind of their liquid cooling solution market. SuperMicro mentions that because of the overall AI market trends, they are announcing a complete liquid cooling solution that includes pretty much everything. Obviously, a complete liquid solution means that it's complete and has everything, but things like CDUs, which are coolant distribution units, cold plates, coolant distribution manifolds, cooling towers, and end-to-end management software. So we can see how SuperMicro is definitely not only pushing on the AI server space, but that complete package by providing those liquid cooling solutions for these data center scales, which I do believe could be bullish for the overall stock. Now, I mentioned my thoughts on Supermicro in the past. This is the time where it's risky, right? Now, I want to stay here in some AI news before I take a closer look at some nuclear power news, which I think is a topic we might start discussing a little bit more in this channel. But on October 7th, there are reports that Nvidia may be cutting its Gaudi 3 shipment by 30%. For those not familiar with Gaudi 3, this is Intel's AI chip, and it's supposed to combat kind of the H100. It's not necessarily a GPU, it's more like an AI accelerator, and it seems like Intel, unfortunately, is not seeing the demand that they thought they were going to get and cutting the target by 30%. Now, based on sources, it seems that Intel was originally expecting to ship somewhere between 300,000 to 350,000 units in 2025. Now, I just want you to put that in perspective, right? That's how much Intel was expected to ship in 2025. Supermicro, not the only AI server maker in the world, right? You have Supermicro, you have Dell, you have HPE, you have all these other players. Supermicro alone was doing 100,000 GPUs per quarter. That's about 400,000 GPUs per year, assuming most are Nvidia GPUs, assuming 350,000 GPUs just from Nvidia per year from Supermicro. Then you have obviously your Dell, your HPE, your other players. And remember, your big tech companies like Microsoft, like Meta, and all these players, they usually buy their own AI accelerators directly, where they don't go through kind of these extra players or AI server creators. So just one company, Supermicro, was selling more GPUs than Intel for Nvidia than Intel was thinking of making overall. And it kind of just showcases how strong Nvidia is and maybe how late to the game, unfortunately, Intel is right now with the platform. Now, the next AI accelerator news that we heard is there are reports that AMD is going to become TSMC's next major customer in Arizona. For those that are not familiar, the first customer, I believe, was Apple. And this Arizona plant is expected to start building chips and productions in 2025. So AMD seems to be the second, and obviously with production in 2025. I want to say maybe AMD is doing this to get in the good side of TSMC and says, hey, look, we'll already take long-term contracts on this Arizona plant. If you can kind of already offer us some form of inventory for at least 2025, because maybe some of the inventory in other plants might have been taken by companies like Nvidia, like Apple, and the list goes on and on. So I think AMD is just trying to diversify and grow its overall revenue. In my opinion, bullish for AMD, not necessarily bearish for Nvidia. Now, the final thing I want to take a closer look is some nuclear updates that we saw today. And first, it seems like the White House is really looking to help revive decommissioned nuclear power plants to help meet the growing energy demands, especially from AI data centers. And reportedly this week at a sustainability conference, White House climate advisor Ali Saidi said that the White House is looking into restarting more nuclear plants. Now, the other thing, it is reported that the Department of Energy did publish an updated version of its pathways to commercial liftoff advanced nuclear report, warning that AI data center load growth will require triple capacity by 2050 from 100 gigawatts to 300 gigawatts. So overall, and you can Google this PDF file, it's Pathways to Commercial Liftoff Advanced Nuclear for September of 2024 by the Department of Energy here in the United States. And you can learn a little bit more about nuclear powers and some of the topics within this technology, which I think is very important for any investor. But we can see that the US government is really pushing into at least the right direction here, which could be bullish for a lot of nuclear stocks. So these are the topics I had for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and take care and see you next time.